25th May, 1966. The mother goes into contemplation, then opens Savitri. And earth grow unexpectedly divine. It's a consolation. You will see. There comes a point when you can tolerate yourself and life only if you take the attitude that the Lord is everything. See that Lord, how many things He possesses. He plays with all that. He plays at changing the positions. And then, when you see it, that whole, you feel the limitless marvel. And that whatever the object of the most marvelous aspiration, it's all quite possible and will even be surpassed. Then you are consoled. Otherwise, this existence is inconsolable. But that way, it becomes charming. When you have the sense of the unreality of life, compared with the reality that's certainly found beyond, but at the same time within life, then, yes, that is true at last. That is true at last and deserves to be true. That is the realization of all possible splendors, all possible marvels, all, yes, all possible felicities, all possible beauties, that, yes. Otherwise, do you understand? That's the point I have reached. 2nd June 1966. Let's work on Savitri a little. A few shall see what none yet understands. There, you see. 25th June 1966. It's always the sound that guides me. Do you know that Sunil has done some music for Savitri? And he is going to play it for me in early July. I don't think he wants to have an audience. It's quite private. But it must be played only in 1968, in February 1968. And he will show me just a small piece to see if it's all right. Oh, not just once, but very often, while listening to his music, a door is immediately opened onto the region of universal harmony, where you hear the origin of sounds, and with an extraordinary emotion and intensity, something that pulls you out of yourself, gesture of abrupt wrenching. It's the first time I have had this while listening to music. I myself have it when I'm all alone, but I never had it while listening to music. It's always something much closer to the earth. Here, it is something very high, but very universal, and with a tremendous power, a creative power. Well, his music opens the door. Now, some people have heard his music, and in Russia, France, and the USA as well. They have asked for permission to copy it and spread it around. And the strange thing is that those people don't know one another, but they have all had the same impression: tomorrow's music. So to those who have asked, I've answered, have some patience. In 2 years, we'll give you a musical monument. It's much better to begin with a major work, because it immediately gives the position. Otherwise, you might think it's passing little inspirations. Not that. Something that strikes you on the head and makes you bow before it. I read out the lines, in English, naturally. And with that, he does the music. And the words are probably mixed in with the music, as he always does. But then my reading is simply the clearest possible pronunciation, with the full understanding of what's being said, and without a single intonation. I think I have succeeded, because at a week's interval, I don't read every day, the timbre of the voice is always the same. 6th August, 1966. Mother, about the vital world described in Love and Death, you said that those who live exclusively in the physical and the vital go there after death. Does it follow that even animals and plants have to go there? How do they manage to come out from there? Except for very rare cases, the animals are not individualized, and when they die, they return to the spirit of the species. In Love and Death are Ruru and Priyamvada, the first forms of Savitri and Satyavan. Sri Aurobindo told me nothing about that. 19th August, 1966. The mother resumes her translation of the debate with death. Think not to plant on earth the living truth. That's just what I am doing, sir. Do you think he hears me? Think not to plant on earth the living truth, or make of matter's world the home of God. Truth comes not there, but only the thought of truth. God is not there, but only the name of God. Basically, according to Sri Aurobindo, materialistic thought is the gospel of death. No? It's very interesting. That's basically the point. We say Savitri is an epic. So Savitri is the epic of the victory over death. Very interesting. Because once again, all these last few days, I have lived almost minute after minute all those things we've just read. But on a large scale, not on a personal, but on a terrestrial scale. This last line, this argument, it was so concrete. No, it's not God, it's only his name. That was yesterday or the day before, not earlier. And then, strangely, the victories over these arguments have the same character of bursts as did those bursts of love I lived up above. The same character, and they shatter the resistance. And the something that bursts forth is love, true love. It's very interesting. And from everywhere, but everywhere, the opposition, the resistance is rising up. And the more it rises up, the more imperative that is. But at such times, one feels how precarious the equilibrium of material life is. Oh, it's very, very interesting. When I am able to say all this, it will be worthwhile. 19th November, 1966. When darkness deepens, strangling the earth's breast, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp, as a thief's in the night shall be the covered tread of one who steps unseen into his house. Yet another example, one who steps unseen into his house. It came on the screen this morning. So much comes that it's impossible to remember, but it's so interesting. And when unseen came, I told